Is he going to United? Is he not? When is he going to United? That I cannot tell you. But if you want to know more than just, hey, he played for Sporting and he scored a ton of goals and gets a lot of assists, then this video is for you. Where he came from, his come up in the Serie B, back to Portugal, and the ongoing will he leave, won't he leave, he's probably going to leave type of situation that's been going on since he's been at Sporting, it feels like. I'm Adrian, by the way. Subscribe if you're new and want to join our growing community. So let's look at a quick background of the player. Bruno Fernandes grew up in Maia, playing most of his youth football with Boa Vista, the other club in Porto. However, when he was just 17 years old, he was invited to sign for Novara, who at the time, 2012, were in the Serie B. The scout who invited him was actually watching another talent from Boa Vista's academy, but Bruno caught his eye, and his willingness to go abroad at a young age sent him on his way to the Italian club. Life wasn't easy for him in Italy, where he wasn't given a full salary until he was part of the first team. Speaking to Record, Bruno said that he left for Italy with 50 euros from his mom, and he made it last from June until January by never really leaving the club to do anything. He spent all of his time in the gym or on the club pitches practicing. Quote, "Those 50 euros lasted until January because I didn't leave the gym. I lived with what I had. I was happy, I had a ball, there were fields, that was good enough for me." He quickly established himself as one of the club's more gifted players, not only in their youth setup, but on the senior team as well, and was quickly promoted to the first team to get some Serie B playing experience. From 23 appearances in the 2012-13 season, he scored 4 goals. That earned him a move to Udinese after just a single season, more like half a season-ish, in Novara's senior side. Playing in the Serie A for Udinese, he began to really catch the attention of the rest of the country with his skill on the ball, his great eye for a pass, and his ability from set pieces. At this time, he was still operating as a central midfielder. He hadn't moved up the pitch just yet. In his final season with Udinese, he scored 3 goals and assisted 4. At the end of the 2015-16 season, Bruno was shifted to another Serie A side, Sampdoria, where his upward trajectory continued, and his position was pushed a little higher as well, this time operating as an attacking midfielder. This is where the catalyst for Bruno Fernandes, the goal-scoring midfielder, first began. At Sampdoria, he was played almost exclusively as a central attacking midfielder, where he scored his career best at that time, 5 goals with 3 assists. But once again, at the end of that season, the call to go back to Portugal came by way of Sporting for just 8.5 million euros. All that he had learned in Italy was put into practice in the Primeira Liga, and he started his career with the green side of Lisbon about as quickly as you could. 4 goals in his first 5 matches. In signing with Sporting, he also got the opportunity to play in the Champions League for the first time, though Sporting were in a tough group. He and Bas Dost provided many Sporting fans something to look forward to, something to be hopeful of in the years to come as Sporting supporters, as Bruno finished his first season with a Taça da Liga title and 16 goals to his name. Not bad for an attacking midfielder, and the 2018-19 season would see him build upon that, and then some. But before that, whether he would even be returning to the club at the end of the season was a massive mystery. As I'm sure you heard of, there was a rather infamous attack on Sporting's players by a group of about 50 fans, where they stormed the Sporting training center, trashed the dressing room, and attacked the players. Bas Dost looked to get the worst of it, but the rest of the squad was understandably shaken. The aftershock, mentally for the players, must have affected their play. There's no denying that, with plenty of players looking to force moves away from the club. And the rumors of Bruno leaving were rife as well, until finally it had been announced that he would stay with the club. And it's quite lucky for Sporting that he did, because he single-handedly saved their 2018-19 season. People call Barcelona Messi FC, and Sporting were truly Bruno Fernandes FC. He had that same sort of importance to Sporting, and this is likely where most people started to hear about him. His scoring record for a midfielder was insane. From 53 matches, he scored 32 goals and racked up 18 assists. That's a goal involvement of 50 in 53 appearances. He, of course, broke Frank Lampard's previous goal tally of 27, a record that stood amongst midfielders since the 2009-10 season. This led to a summer of will he, won't he as far as a move to Manchester United went, and at times to Tottenham, but nothing came of it, with Sporting determined to hang on to their player, and rightfully so, as Bruno continued to perform for them and operated as one of the best attacking midfielders in Europe. So far this season, he already has 8 goals and 7 assists from 15 appearances, as he's on track to match his Primeira Liga numbers from last season, 20 goals, 13 assists. I mean, I can speak firsthand as to the quality of Bruno, as we fell victim to him in the cup competition last season. Bruno single-handedly dragged Sporting into the final of the cup by scoring a brilliant free kick in the first leg at our own stadium, and then a near-post screamer that kissed the bar on the way in the second leg, and Sporting advanced on away goals, both scored by Bruno. So, as you have surely assumed, he operates best tucked in behind the strikers, where he's given the license to roam to the flanks, come back inside, and a creative license as well. He's a decent dribbler, he's capable of taking defenders on one-on-one, but undoubtedly his strengths come in his vision and his passing ability. He can put the ball where he wants. You know, great diagonal balls, weighted through balls, and balls whipped through the box. But he can also deliver from set-piece situations, whether he be firing directly on goal or dropping it into areas for his teammates to attack. Him linking up with Slabhead could be great for United. He's the kind of player that no matter your allegiance, such as mine to Benfica, you cannot say that he isn't a talented player. Those that say he is overrated or not as good as the media makes you believe, relax. You would take him into your team any day, or at least you can admit that he would improve your team any day, you know? Now, if he is to go to United, if United and Sporting don't get caught in a tug of war over, 10 million euros or something like that, then he will undeniably improve their team. He is a better option in the midfield than anyone they have currently. That's excluding Pogba due to his injury, and he really could be one of the missing pieces in their attack. Someone who can pull the strings from just behind Martial and Ollie's old 4-3-3, which United was thriving in at the start of his tenure. Someone who can spray diagonal balls through to the flanks, whether that be to Rashford or James. And someone who, just as well as he can play a pass, can finish well from distance and free kicks, as his goal-scoring record speaks for itself at this point. Just adding to that, he's been involved in 67 league goals since the start of the 2017-18 season when he arrived in Portugal. 39 goals, 28 assists, truly astounding numbers. I do think that he is guilty of forcing things a bit too much at times, as he has done with Portugal, but he was probably just trying to, really force the issue as far as the starting lineup goes. But of course, the payoff to that are the numbers that he puts up, so take from that what you will. To me, Bruno has what it takes to be an excellent Premier League player. If he's given the license to be creative in an advanced role, not too deep, we're talking attacking midfielder here, and not too wide. And if he's given time to adapt, he could become an extremely important player for United. And at the absolute barest minimum, he's better than the options United currently have as far as attacking midfielders go. He really could be one of the missing pieces to Ollie's puzzle. Cristiano Ronaldo himself said that he didn't have any idea of why Bruno was still at Sporting. His ability is there. Ronaldo signed off on it. Now it's just a matter of when he leaves. But yeah, that's it. Just my opinion on Bruno and a bit of background for those that aren't too familiar with him and want more than just a, yeah, he scores lots of goals and is good kind of explanation. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. My name is Adrian, and take care.